Hello my friend, welcome to another video of Inner Spark. In the video of today we are going to talk about the autopilot relationship. Are you in an autopilot relationship? Do you know what is an autopilot relationship? Stay with me, we will discover it together. To understand well what is an autopilot mode for a relationship, you can imagine what is going on with the airplanes, with the flights. The airplanes, these beautiful machines, they have a system in which they can work by themselves. The pilots connect the autopilot and then the plane is flying and keeping the stability, keeping the direction by themselves. And in the same time, the pilots can rest, can eat, can talk, can be comfortable. They don't need to pay attention of the plane to make it fly towards the right direction. This plane is in autopilot in this moment. So the same idea applies for the relationship. When your relationship is in autopilot, it means that you are not actively paying attention to your relationship, that you are comfortable paying attention to another things while your relationship developed by itself, accidentally, randomly. And this is bad? This is a problem. Well, thing is that this is not bad nor good, it is just impossible. We have the idea that, like we do in the machines, in the planes, or in some cars, that we can put our life or important parts of our life, for example, our relationship, in autopilot. So our life will be more comfortable, but it is impossible that things work by themselves, that human experiences and human systems work by themselves. They need energy, they need attention, they need care, they need intention. So when we don't apply all these elements, the nature and the experiences in our relationship becomes accidental, random. It is like, imagine you are sitting in a car with horses, and imagine you are not guiding the horses anymore. The horses go by themselves where they want to go. They may go to drink some water, they may go to eat some grass, and in the same time you will be there sitting with no capacity to choose your direction, to choose the destination, to control your life, and actually to take your relationship where you want it to take it. So this is the danger of the relationships that enter in an autopilot mode. And now I want you to think for one moment what happens to other parts of your life when you leave them in autopilot. For example, your body. What happens if you leave your body in autopilot? Your body has the tendency to stay static, to eat, to rest, don't do effort. So if you allow your body to be in autopilot, probably you will lose health, you will gain fat, you will lose flexibility, you will lose strength. Okay, this is what is happening when we leave things in autopilot. For example, if you leave in autopilot your job and you don't pay attention to what you are doing there, your performance will go down. Your results and your outcome will be worse. So the same concept applies for the relationship. Okay, I will explain you the big thing here. The problem is that theoretically, the dharma of life, the nature of life, of the universe, is that things should work properly by themselves, naturally. But here is the thing. In this world, we have a lot of karma, a lot of emotions, memories, traumas that we are releasing. And out of this karma, basically we are receiving a lot of programs from our families, education, society, culture. All these limiting programs, limiting ideas, limiting beliefs, they are actually attached to the body, attached to our psyche. And if we don't take conscious control of our life, this unconscious program will take control of our life. So in this way, if we don't pay attention to what we eat, we don't control our diet, and we have the program to eat a lot of fat, to eat a lot of carbohydrates, and to eat a lot of sweet, because of course we receive these programs from society, we receive this kind of education regarding food, we will go into this with no control, with no measure, we will destroy our health. So it's the same concept here. We have received so many wrong programs and beliefs regarding relationships, so many, that if we don't pay attention and we are not aware, we don't take care of our relationship, all these programs will start running in the background with no control, and they will actually take our relationship to a very difficult situation, full of toxicity, limitation, worries, fears, because actually these are the quality of the programs that we are receiving from our past memories, generation, family, so on. So the whole point of this is, if you don't control actively and consciously your relationship, your limiting programs will take the control and they will take your relationship into a limiting situation. And of course, what usually happens in this situation, I know two very clear scenarios. First, the relationship loses all the passion, all the energy, the exchange, the intimacy. It becomes flat, gray. And option number one, the relationship becomes like totally distant. There is a distance between the two partners. They become isolated, and finally they just coexist like roommates. This usually happens to people who has been together for many years, and they build a very big infrastructure together, system together. They don't want to separate, but they really lost all the connection, so they becomes like flatmates. And the other possibility is that once you reach this state with no intimacy, no passion, you just break up and look for another partner, or just be by yourself or whatever. So autopilot means most of the time destroying your relationship. Of course, this happens in times, slowly, gradually. Sometimes people doesn't even realize. So that is why it's so important to work actively with your relationship. Now, how to know if you are working in autopilot or if you are working consciously with your relationship? This is a bit tricky, a bit personal, but I will give you 3 main indicators that will help you to understand if you are in this state, in this autopilot mode, so you can move on and change it and take action to take your relationship to move it to a conscious mode. The first indicator that you are in an autopilot mode relationship is that your relationship does not have a clear purpose. And what is this? What is a clear purpose is something clear that you and your partner agree to achieve through the relationship, through the experience of the relationship, through the exchange in the relationship. For example, you may agree to build a family. For example, you may agree to build a project, a business together. For example, you may agree to go deeper in the self-development and the self-recognition using the experience of the relationship. This is the point. When the relationship doesn't have a clear purpose, then you don't know where to take it. You don't know where to guide. You don't know what to do with your energy. You don't know where to direct the horses, where to direct the car. In this situation, it is very typical that if you don't have a clear direction, then these programs, these limiting beliefs will take over, and then they will put their own intention. And then you may start using your relationship to cover basic average needs, to say, okay, I'm in a relationship only to have fun, to have pleasure, to have someone next to me. You give this little meaning, little purposes to your relationship, but they are not real big purposes. They are not clear purposes, clear directions. And then why you are in a relationship? Well, because it's okay, because everyone does it, because what to do, because I like him, because I like her, because it's better like this. All these are arguments that they are telling you that you don't have a clear direction, and you may fall into this autopilot tendency. Okay, another indicator that you can use to know if you are running an autopilot relationship is what you are doing with your personal issues in your relationship. If you are avoiding personal conflicts, moment of confrontations, fears, traumas, and so on, if this kind of element, this kind of stressful, a bit discomfort elements are not present in your relationship, it may mean that you are unconsciously avoiding all these strugglings, all these confrontation, all these experiences. They are necessary to grow, they are necessary to heal the past, they are necessary to evolve, and they are present in all the relationships. But sometimes the intensity of these experiences are very high, and the partners, they don't want to go through this experience, so they distract themselves and they fall into the avoidance. They really avoid to come closer to these topics, to experience their sorrow, to experience their sadness. the feeling of loneliness, and all these intense emotions that come up with the experience of intimacy. So if you realize that in your relationship you are avoiding, you and your partner, or you or your partner, you are avoiding the painful memories, the painful emotions that you are gathering with you, and they are not manifesting in your relationship, you don't have the chance to go through them, to experience them, and to heal them. This is another very clear indicator that you are acting unconsciously and that you unconsciously are avoiding these things. It's like, there is one topic, there is a big tension, for example, when you talk about sex, or when you talk about your parents or the parents of your partner, or there is some specific topic that creates friction, that creates tension, that creates conflict, and you avoid it naturally. You avoid it, and out of this, of course, you feel a bit more comfortable, but this is not the natural way. This is the unconscious way. This is the way of avoidance. Is an unconscious way that, of course, is typical of every autopilot relationship. And the third very clear indicator, it is paying too much attention to average mechanical things. Okay, when we don't have a clear big purpose in our relationship, we tend to pay too much attention to the little details and to create very big dramas and problems and discussions and conflicts out of very little things, about food, about money, about friends, social engagement, small mistakes that we can have at home, and then they become very big dramas. When we realize, like, okay, I had yesterday a huge drama because of the dinner, because what we ate in the dinner, or because of the way I cooked the dinner, or something like this, it means that something is out of place there, because usually the purpose of the relationship should be something bigger, should be something very deep, very important. So all these superficial things, okay, they are important, they are part of the relationship, but they have a percentage of importance that is not so high to create such a big things. So this is another very clear indicator that you may be living an autopilot relationship. So if you don't see a clear big purpose in your relationship, if you are living in this status quo in which you are not talking about the critical things and your partner is not talking about the critical things neither, and you are overreacting with these little things, it may mean that you are not consciously directing your relationship in the direction that you want, that you need. Actually, every relationship needs healing, engagement, intimacy, and alchemy. So I invite you to create, to find, to set this very big purpose, to be brave enough to talk about these deep wounds that we all have in our heart, and to be able to focus your attention in the highest, and not to burn your energies with little discussions and little details from the everyday life. Bring or convert your autopilot relationship into a conscious relationship that actually will serve you to improve, to evolve, to beautify yourself, to beautify your partner, and to beautify your relationship, so you can reach this real state of union and intimacy that will fulfill both of you. This is actually the final destiny of every relationship. I hope you like the video. I send you a huge hug. See you in the next one.